Watching movie flicks. Oh, spandex. It's not all fun and games. It hurts my eyes and mine. But I could watch it all the time. Oh, missed that. But I could watch it. All the time. I don't know. Hurts my eyes and mine. It's going on 4 weeks. I'm getting the right kind of paint. Here we have rust barrier. Rust inhibitor, but that wasn't good enough. And rust, what is it, rust reformer? Is that the one you wanted?
Yeah, rust reformer.
This is the one you wanted, rust reformer.
That's the, yes. And now it's time to finally paint this frame.
I don't know how to focus it, just get in
Back
there.
where you're trying to film so it looks clear.
What do I touch to make it focus?
The screen.
The little yellow box just came on.
That's because it's focusing on something. Is you sure this thing's going to hold?
Look at this 250-pound brute. Fitting in this little...
140.
Oh, 240? Try to be nice to you. Look at that motion on that wrist.
This wrist gets a lot of action. In an earlier video, you may remember me cleaning up the frame. And it feels good to finally be painting it, and sealing the deal on a mistake we made the first time we put the engine in. Yeah,
Keep shaking it up, man.
He swears by it. I wish I had a mask, you know what I mean? Like, this is like fucking suicide painting like this.
Don't be afraid to run. Get that on there thick.
Well, we're gonna put a couple coats on it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Nothing like a good black rear end. Yeah, get that whole differential.
Yeah. Everybody likes black rear end. Are we talking about the same thing? Oh, you meant this.
I'm talking about the, yeah.
Sorry.
When I said that, I didn't mean that way.
Not bad, Kirk. Not bad. It's a little runny from out here, but...
No. Well, you have another coat.
Yeah, we'll have another coat, and you got a weld there anyway. Rust-Oleum's Rust Reformer does a really good job, and I'm really glad I used it. It looks good, and this gets me ready to move forward. Alright, Kirk, you ready to get this engine in? After getting that engine lowered back into position, a few clamps helped us easily guide the engine to the transmission and bolt it back together. Now, if we ever read up on this engine conversion, or watched any other videos of people who have done it, one of the things you're going to hear is that lining up this engine to fit in there perfectly in all the clearances is the most difficult part, and they are not wrong. Now, the most important thing is certainly the clearances, but it was also very important to me that the engine sit in and look somewhat level and straight. And the way the engine sits just bolted to the transmission has a kind of popping a wheelie look, and none of the clearances are right. So after a little discussion, it's decided the best thing to cure this is to remove the transmission lowering kit that's installed that came with the lift kit. Of course, that immediately put our drive shaft back in a terrible position. But the rest of the vehicle lines up, and that is fixable. That engine position there might work.
Well, we're good.
But see, the clearance is still not good.
I know. We got to take... Actually, 3.5. Okay. Great.
The very corner of that oil pan.
We got almost 4.5. I mean, to that right to there. I mean, before this was hitting here. We're now... I'm holding it over. Yeah, we're almost 2 inches up there. See, now we're almost 2 inches away from, because remember, this was banging against this, remember? Actually, yeah, right in here, actually right there. So now, we're a country mile away, if we can keep it over on the passenger side, you know? Wow, I can't believe what a difference taking those spacers made. That is night and day difference. I mean, look, I can stick my hand in there with my thumb and everything. That's right where we want it.
It does look.
It's going to clear now. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. And in fact, we could slide it back. You know what I'm saying? We can. We're going to bring it back a little bit.
Well, we have like it.
That's what you're saying. Okay. But I mean, before
The extended drive shaft is an absolute must.
Yeah.
There's no way around
there's
it.
no way around it.
I mean, I see what you're saying. It's definitely. That clearance is definitely the way it should be right there.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, that's much better than where it was. No.
You can go a little more even if you wanted to.
Well, here's the problem here. We don't want to go too much because we're starting to run out of room for our exhaust to make that cut.
Yeah, I could still. I think you should pull it back the rest of the way. Honestly, it's still this part of the oil pan is still in line to hit this.
Okay, I'm gonna move it back. Gonna move back?
No, not really.
If you could push that way against the, push the engine back quick. Work with. Oh, I just did it. Okay.
Did you do it?
Yeah.
But taking these things out, those spacers out, great. That was a great call.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could
It's
think
good
of.
for the stock engine, but for when you have these clearance problems, it's just not going to happen.
No.
It took a lot of checking, rechecking, repositioning, and time to get that engine just perfect. And we definitely did, and quickly arose the next problem. No matter which way we flip these motor mounts, we cannot get them to meet enough surface contact with the frame for an ideal weld. The trouble is the engine is in an ideal position where it cannot hit anything, even if the suspension does bottom out sometime. This turn of events really discouraged me, and I was about ready to give up again. But Kirk came to the rescue once again and made an executive decision to use the motor mounts this way with slight modifications. I was feeling pretty miserable, but I just put my trust in Kirk and just kinda stood there and filmed and let him do the welding. He had a plan he said would work and I would be happy with, so I just kinda sit back and let it play out. After welding the motor mounts into place, we bolted in the starter while it was still very easy to access. And after letting the welds cure for just a day, we lowered the engine on top of them. And then Kirk began phase 2, making some gussets for the motor mounts.
Yeah, we gotta fix this part of the frame up a little bit here too.
I'm sure everybody understands what the idea of these gussets are. We need to give these motor mounts a lot more support. I remain a little skeptical of them, and I hope they hold up the first time I have to jeep my way over a tree that's across the trail. Kirk is very confident they will provide enough support, and even called them overkill. Regardless of anything else, I do think that the frame being gusseted this way to hold the motor mounts is the way to go. Just obtaining that engine position and all those clearances in a perfect way is well worth it.
We're gonna put a plate around here too. Roll that up.
I guess I will take the time to point out the obvious, that both sides of the frame are getting the same cleanup and the same gussets. So what you are seeing is a mishmash of filming from both sides of the project.
Let me see that paint there, Al.
I think they came out very good, and I actually like the way they look. And no matter what, they can't hurt, and it will definitely make this setup a lot stronger. So with the welds on both sides completed, and just being left to cool for a little while, it's time to actually bolt that engine down into its permanent resting place. And of course, a lot of places were cleaned up and received some new metal and some new welds on both sides. So equally, both sides need another coat of that beautiful rust reformer. If you have any thoughts on this project, and the gussets, and things that me and Kirk do, please leave a comment below. I love to hear from people who watch my videos. What a drastic difference. Every time I look at it, it makes me happy. The whole frame cleanup and gussets turned out to be beautiful, and adds to the look of the Jeep.
You gotta have gloves on to paint. It's just any sane person would do that.
You're like an artiste with those big gloves on.
Yeah, except that I'm gonna paint my shock, which I don't want to do. Please tell me you're not video my feet when we're trying to do like a diesel project, right? Thanks.
That's what happens when you paint with gloves. You get runs. That should definitely make that frame stronger, I would think.
I would think so.
That's a beautiful thing. That's beautiful.
Yeah, it looks alright.
All right, good.
I'm up here, Kirk.
I was filming your ass for about 10 seconds.
So you know, I mean, I know it's hard to keep your eyes up.
It's hard to believe that I once thought you could fit this whole project into just 3 videos. There's lots more to come on this Jeep, so please subscribe and thanks for watching.